Next tonight, the council bosses in our region earning more than the Prime Minister. But are they worth it?
A report by the Taxpayers Alliance has revealed 6 of our council chiefs make more than Gordon Brown's £197,000 a year. The councils defending the salaries say top wages attract the best people. Our political correspondent Matthew Hudson is in Westminster for us now. So, Matthew, are these top salaries par for the course or are they over the top?
Well, David, as is so often the case, it entirely depends on who you talk to. The Taxpayers Alliance has produced these figures. It claims that it had to use freedom of information legislation to drag them kicking and screaming out of some of the councils who apparently would rather that the general public didn't know how much some senior public servants were earning. But as you say, there are 6 council bosses in our region who are earning more than the Prime Minister. Top of the tree is Joanna Killian at Essex County Council, who earns around £265,000. Next is David White in Norfolk, who owns £212,000. If you add the salaries of those 6 chief executives together, you get something like £1.25 million. The Alliance also says that far too many people in the public sector have seen their salaries go over £100,000. It says in the current climate that simply isn't on.
When people are being told about pay freezes, possible redundancies, etc. in councils, it doesn't seem fair that we see the number of people earning £100,000 increase year on year on year.
So, Matthew, what do the councils have to say?
Well, they've been playing a pretty straight bat on this one today. They say that councils are now so large, they have so many responsibilities, that they really have to pay big salaries to attract top people. They have to then say they have to keep paying them that, otherwise they risk losing them to other sectors.
Chief executives oversee services to vulnerable children, older people, making sure our streets are clean. They can be responsible for budgets of up to £1 billion and over 60,000 staff. It's a huge job, and we need the best and the brightest people to do that job.
Now, both the Lib Dems and the Tories yesterday said they had plans to curb public sector pay rises. It looks like this could become something of an election issue.
Matthew, thank you. Next tonight, the damning report into the controversial scheme to merge our fire control rooms.
A new control centre near Cambridge designed to handle calls from 6 counties across the east of England is still standing empty.
Today, a committee of MPs criticised the project as inadequately planned and badly managed, but said it should still go ahead as it would cost even more to scrap it. Claire McGlasson reports.
It's become a monument to inefficiency. The new fire control centre in Waterbeach near Cambridge was supposed to coordinate firefighting operations across the eastern region. But it's still not open. According to a committee of MPs, that's because of bad planning and bad management.
We are very concerned about the implementation, the huge cost overrun, the constant delays in actually implementing it, now intended for mid-2011.
It confirms everything the Fire Brigades Union has been saying for the past 7 years on this project. It's a complete and utter mess. We think it should be scrapped.
This is one of 9 regional control centres across the country. So far, the national scheme is £300 million over budget and more than a year and a half late. Everything is state-of-the-art, including the coffee machines, which cost more than £5,000 each. But when it comes to the control room itself, it's empty, because they still can't get the computer system to work.
I think we'd be equally criticised if the technology and everything else was ready to go and the building wasn't available. We'd ideally like to be in a position where both come online together, but that's not actually in practice how things happen.
The Fire Brigades Union says the project is a waste of money, but the government is pressing on with the scheme after the committee said it would cost more to scrap it than it would to complete it. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Waterbeach near Cambridge.
Well, do stay with us. More news from your part of the region is on the way.
Plus, we'll...
From 6:30 this evening, out-of-hours doctors' services in Suffolk will be run by a new company called Harmoni.
The previous provider, Take Care Now, were heavily criticised in February after an inquest found one of the German doctors they'd employed unlawfully killed a patient.
Harmoni promise more out-of-hours doctors, but some will still be foreign. Martin Stew reports.
David Gray was killed by a doctor he called to help him. killed by 10 times the recommended dose of diamorphine administered by Dr. Abani, a German doctor with poor English and on his first shift in the country. The lethal incompetence of Dr. Abani cast a shadow over out-of-hours care. Now Harmony are taking over in Suffolk from the previous and much maligned provider Take Care Now and are hoping for a fresh start. Tonight, this call centre in Ipswich goes live.
The patient should feel very confident for this evening. We have a number of changes in the service that we have been implementing and that will be live at 6:30 this evening.
Those changes include a 50% increase in overnight doctors, taking the total to 3 GPs for 600,000 people. There's new technology, and during peak times there'll be up to 29 clinicians based all around the county. Some doctors will still be foreign, but Harmony insist all have been vetted.
Every GP that works in the service must have a face-to-face interview, and in the main they're held with our medical director, Dr. Tony Snell. And in that process we will check their language skills, their NHS experience, assessment and their qualifications.
220 of the staff have been transferred from Take Care Now, but Harmony insists the new systems and checks will safeguard against old mistakes. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Ipswich.
A woman whose body was found in a pub freezer last week had been shot in the head, police have revealed. Becky Thorpe's body was found by police at the Compasses Inn in Snettisham in Norfolk. 49-year-old Michael Tucker's been charged with her murder and is next due in court on the 9th of April.
The woman whose body was recovered from the River Gipping in Ipswich on Tuesday has been named as 46-year-old Sandra Warne from nearby Barrack Lane. Investigations are continuing after her body was spotted in the water between the Princes Street Bridge and Stoke Bridge around midday on Tuesday. The cause of death is being treated as unexplained.
The Care Quality Commission has told the Basildon and Thurrock University Hospitals NHS Foundation it must take urgent action to improve patient safety. The watchdog has imposed 5 conditions on the hospital. If it fails to meet them, inspectors could impose fines or even suspend some services. The Hospital Trust today said it had been expecting the conditions to be imposed and has plans to address all of the conditions within the time frame set.
Sound systems confiscated at raves in Norfolk have been destroyed by the police. It's part of a zero-tolerance approach towards the illegal gatherings that are ahead of us.
Senior officers are warning anyone planning one over the Easter weekend that their equipment will face the same treatment. Serena Sandhu reports.
Illegal raves have proved a real menace for the region's police forces. These were the scenes as police officers came under attack at an illegal rave in Suffolk in 2007. They were trying to break up the rave in the King's Forest near Bury St Edmunds when they were met by a hail of missiles, including bottles and cans. Over the border in Norfolk, police say they remain determined to stop them and are warning people not to try and arrange any events over the Easter period.
We will intervene, we will seek to prosecute people who've organised it, and we will seize your equipment and it will be destroyed.
This afternoon there was a clear message to rave organisers as sound equipment worth more than £2,000 was destroyed, removing it from the rave scene permanently.
We are basically reacting to concerns from the public and from business. These events are not victimless crimes. They do have a cost to the local economy, to landowners and to householders as well. They are not victimless.
Senior officers say their crackdown on illegal raves will continue, crushing any hopes of illegal events in the future. Serena Sandhu, Anglia News.